Communication is a two-way street. But when it comes to our spirit guides, we tend to just go around saying, help me, why aren't you there? Why aren't you talking to me? So today, let's get into communicating with your spirit guides. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeill. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. Before we get started today, I would love for you to connect with me over on Instagram, and I would absolutely love a review of this podcast. And of course, if you found value and you're a listener, I would love a 5-star review. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving away prizes. So you can go to messengerofspirit.com/podcast review for all the details. Okay, let's get into this. So communicating with your spirit guides. How do you do that? Now, if you are brand new, you might want to listen to the episode before this first. You can also go to messengerofspirit.com/7. And you know now that you've listened to that episode, who spirit guides are. So how do you talk to them? So one of the biggest misconceptions that I see with people who haven't worked with me before is, can I just talk to my spirit guides anytime? Or aren't they just sitting around doing nothing, waiting for me to talk to them? Well, the answer is no, they're not sitting around. And the answer is it's better to talk to them at a more scheduled time than just any time. And here's why. When we set out a time to talk to our spirit guides, we put that as a priority. And your spirit guides start organizing the things that they have for you and also their day based on your meetings. So it's important that they have time with you. And also it's important that you schedule that time with them too. So the first thing is talking to them is more important than not talking to them. So if you are like, I'm not a meeting kind of person, just talk to your spirit guides. Because when you do, they understand that you're ready and you're willing to say yes to opportunities that they're going to create. But it's always nice to set a scheduled meeting, just like you would for someone that you highly respect on the earth plane. So for instance, sometimes I'll tell my friends, I don't know, just call me whenever. And if I'm not there, I'll call you back. Sometimes we can treat our spirit guides like that if we have other things to do or if we don't really have anything specific to say. But when you make an effort, when you are like, ooh, I really want to talk to this person, or I'm so excited, you'll say, hey, what time is it best for me to call? So if we could apply that strategy to talking to our spirit guides, that's going to be really helpful in improving our communication for several reasons. Now, one reason is that your guides know that you're really ready to hear them and to communicate with them at that time, and they're going to show up for you when you show up for them. Another reason it's helpful, though, when you set aside that time, you are basically saying whatever is coming through during this meeting and during this time is only coming in from my spirit guides and my intuition. So you're essentially creating this sacred time to talk to your spirit guides, which is beautiful and wonderful. And also, it kind of tricks your mind too, to be like, hey, whatever thoughts you've got, you can just take a back seat. Whatever's coming through, this is just my spirit guides. Also, you start to learn the difference of how it feels and sounds and what you see and what you know during this special time. Because I get a lot of, how do I know the difference between what my mind is making up versus what my spirit guides are telling me or what my intuition is saying? So if you can create this sacred time and you've devoted it, that whatever's coming through is from your guides, it also helps you recognize what it is like to get an intuitive message. So you set the parameters and you've also set up this consistency too. So you get this consistency of, oh, I get what that feels like. And when you set consistency, you also are creating this pattern that this is important to you. You're creating this pattern with your guides, and you're essentially building, in air quotes, your intuitive muscle. So if you are someone that just sits around all day and doesn't exercise, and you decide to say, I'm going to go run a marathon, don't know how far you're going to get with that, right? You just don't know how far we're going to get with that. So, consistency. You probably train, right? A little bit more each day or a little bit slower, just one foot in front of the other. Same with your spirit guides and your intuition. The more that you make this a priority, the more that you're going to see the results. So, it's really important of why to set aside this time. Also, it helps you to say all the things so that if you weren't having meetings, you might just randomly remember things. Oh, yeah. And then you just start talking to your guides in the middle of the day, which isn't very organized, doesn't lead to the best communication. And also, there's two parts to communication, too. You got to listen, you got to get their messages. And if you're randomly talking to them while you're shopping for your groceries and they're supposed to give you the messages right then, you are going to question that message to death. Seriously. You're going to be like, was that a message? I don't know. I was thinking about the broccoli. Oh, wait a minute. Look at those apples on sale. Oh, okay. Yes. I got a yes for my new client. I mean, you need to really have some time to allow your mind to become clear. Clearing the mind is really, really important. So, creating a space during your day every day would be helpful. So, one of the questions I get is, well, when do I do this? Choose something that works for you. You can do this before you go to bed, when you wake up in the middle of the day. Attach it to after your workout or after you're brushing your teeth or after you eat lunch. Whatever it is, just find something that works for you. Now, if you have set up this schedule to talk with your guides and you forgot about it, or you're traveling on a plane at that time or whatever, just talk to your guides. It's more important to talk to them than not. So, meetings. What do you say? Like, what happens when you're there? You're in this meeting. You're talking to your guides. Sounds easy, but what's the structure like? So one of the things that you can do is when you have this meeting, I always like to start out my meeting with an affirmation. It's like an intention. It's an intention to align all of your energy bodies, right? You have a physical body, an emotional body, a mental body, a spiritual body. And when you say these affirmations, it all aligns. So if you're brand new to affirmations, an example that's a negative example would be if you said you're stupid. Oh, I'm stupid. Ha ha ha. A lot of times people might say that when they're joking or they feel kind of embarrassed. Oh, so stupid. And they're laughing. But the more you say it, the easier it is to say it. The more your mental body believes it, the more you feel frustrated. And then you feel like you can't ever get anything right. When you say, I'm so confident or I'm so smart, the more you say that, the easier it is to say it. And you attach it to a positive emotion and you believe in yourself that you can do anything. So that's just a quick example of why affirmations work. So not only are you saying, hey, this is my intention and I'm aligning my bodies, but you're also putting this blanket statement out to the universe. So your vibration's matching it and you attract what you're putting out. But you're also talking to your spirit guides, and it's kind of like a mission statement for what's going on. All right, this is what I know I have to help Whitney with. This is what I have to help you with when you're doing the meetings. Your guides know. And it also has this kind of effect like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the meeting. So your guides know, all right, it's time to get our meeting started. And they start coming around a bit more. That's how I start out my meeting. And then I like to say, hey, want to talk to my personal guides and teachers. And I say, thank you. Thank you for giving me the hunch yesterday about this. Thank you for doing this. So if you know of a specific intuitive hunch that you got, name it. If you don't, you could just say, thanks for being here. Thank you for being around. Thank you for caring about me, for helping me learn and grow. And then set your intention of what you would like help with or what you're asking for. So you can say, thank you so much. I would love to receive more information about XYZ and state what it is that you need. And then you can always say, what can I do better to understand that? So thank you. Here's my intention. What can I do? It's really nice to have that flow back and forth between your guides. A lot of times we end up demanding things. I just want you to help me with this. I need you to do this. Oh my gosh. Like, can you imagine if you had somebody every day, like a personal assistant that you never said thank you to, you never really paid the person, you never even acknowledged the person until you needed something. I need you to do this. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the parent-child relationship a little bit, but it's important to appreciate and see what you're doing in this part of the relationship. So if you ever want to think about relationships, if you've ever been to counseling or seen a therapist, and you know that communication goes both ways, both people have to make the effort, right? So it's really important to do that. Now, I'm telling you what to say, but you might be wondering, do I just say it out loud? Do I say it how do I actually say it? So I'm going to tell you all about that when we come back from this break. This episode is sponsored by my free Spirit Guide Masterclass. Inside, you'll learn the 5 C's of Spirit Guide communication, your role with your Spirit Guides, 2 proven effective strategies to stop second guessing yourself and your intuition, and the single most important step to understand your intuitive guidance, along with 4 ways to perceive your spiritual intuitive messages. You'll also be getting a workbook to go through this class as well. You can join at messengerofspirit.com/free class. Thanks for listening. Okay, let's talk about how you actually say things to your guides. So you've got your meetings scheduled, right? And you've said your affirmation. You've also welcomed your guides. You've said thank you. You've also said your intention. And then you've also said, how else can I do it? Like, tell me what I can do to further improve this relationship or further manifest my goals or further align to my purpose. You can say this out loud just like you're hearing me speak, literally saying it out loud. Now, you might feel uncomfortable with it, and that's okay. I just talk to my guides out loud all the time. And I'll say to my husband, hey, I'm talking to my spirit guides. Now, when I say all the time, I want to preface it with at the times that I need to with my meeting. But my husband will often walk in and say, who are you talking to? I'm talking to my guides. And sometimes I'm in the car and I want to talk to my guides. And I say, I'm going to go talk to my guides. But if that is not possible, what you can do is just really intend after you've quieted your mind and ask it with your inner reading voice with the intention they pick it up. That's important. So if you were to just think about it, just as you think about the grocery list, it is not going to get to them. That is not how spirit operates. It's not how spirit works. So if you're just saying, oh, got to get the dinner, oh, I'm hungry, oh, I've got to go pick up the dog. Yeah, so my guides, I'd like for you to do this. Oh, they're not going to get the memo. They're not going to get that difference in energy. So it's going to be really important for you to talk, but do it in your inner reading voice with the intention that they pick it up. So you need to be sending out the signal, basically, is what I'm saying. So when you're sending out the signal, they pick it up. It's like this, oh, we've got a conversation. We've got a message from Whitney today. So that's how it is. It's you're giving them permission to basically read your thoughts. Now, they do not read your thoughts. This is another question I get. They will not do that because you're an ethical person. If you're listening to this podcast, at least I hope you are. So that means that you have ethical spirit guides and they're not going to just peer in on all your thoughts. But also, could you imagine the cluster that would be if they tried? You're thinking like a zillion things. I know you're probably up at night and thinking about all the things, or you get up at 3 a.m. and you think about all the things. Like that would be horrendous to try to pick through all of that nonsense that we have and to be like, oh, this is important. This is what they meant for me. So those are ways that you can talk to your spirit guides. Now, if you want to, you could also write it out. But if you write it, do so with reading it or do so with the intention that you're saying it with the intention that they get it. Writing can, for some people, add a little bit more oomph to their messages just because they're literally manifesting it out loud. They're putting it into a physical form. So up to you. But no matter if you choose to write or not, it's out loud or with inner reading voice with the intention they pick it up. That inner reading voice with the intention they pick it up is called intuitive thought. So I'll say you can talk to them with intuitive thought. When you have communicated with them, there's a part of the communication that you're going to want to receive, which is their answers. So here's the deal. Clear your mind. I know if you've taken Intuition Abundance Academy with me or 4 Intuitive Languages, you know I have a whole module on clearing the mind. Why do we clear our mind? We have to clear our mind because if we don't, how in the hell is the message going to get through, right? Seriously. It's like you're creating a force field if you don't clear your mind. It's like the message comes in and bounces off or tries to get through the force field and you don't know because you're thinking about the groceries. So when your mind is completely clear, that means you're just allowing yourself to receive. You're not producing any thought. You're not thinking. I'm going to allow my mind to rest. This, I promise you, is the easiest and the hardest step. Sounds like a contradiction because it is. Seriously, there's really no energy that happens. You just let go. But letting go is so freaking hard for spiritual, ambitious souls. You're thinking about your business. You're thinking about your purpose. You're thinking about all the people that you need to help. Yep, this is what happens. And then we start second guessing ourselves. So clearing the mind is super, super important. So how do we do it? Well, I teach a ton of ways inside of my programs, but I'll give you a little sneak peek right now. So one of the ways that you can clear your mind is imagine a chalkboard. If those things still even exist anymore, I don't know. And you can imagine that you're taking an eraser and you're moving your hand up and down and you're hearing the eraser on the chalkboard. You're visualizing and seeing the chalkboard being completely clear. You feel it, you know it, you just allow. Or you could just see white light and imagine that the right and the left sides of your energy go to the right and the left and it forms a tunnel. And just let those messages come in, allowing those messages to just come in. So it's clearing the mind. So what ends up happening is people get obsessed with this. I'm clearing my mind every 5 seconds. A thought came in. So I encourage you to practice clearing your mind. And you can do this in smaller intervals and then gradually go up and give yourself permission. So I say to give yourself permission to let your mind go. Promise yourself that you're going to worry about all the things later and write it down if you want to. Write down all the things. Normally what happens is when we clear the mind, we have this backed up queue of stuff that we needed to talk about or we needed to think about. So it's like, I'm finally going to rest. Oh shit, this is popping in. Uh-oh, this is coming in too. All right, That's what happens whether you're trying to take a nap, you're trying to lay down, or you are trying to clear your mind. When we're in the shower, it happens a lot too. A lot of these backed up things. So the more consistent you can be in clearing your mind, the more those backed up things go away and the easier it is for you. So clearing the mind is going to be important. And then you receive spirit's answers. When I say spirit, I'm talking about your spirit guides in this scenario through your intuitive language, through your seeing, through your hearing, through your feeling, or through your knowing, or you might even smell or taste the message. Sounds really weird, but go back to episode 1 if you need to. You can always take the free quiz to help you determine your intuitive language too. That is the recipe for communicating with your guides. So you're carving out time, right? You're not doing it any old time. You're carving out time. You are allowing yourself to set your intention, saying it loud or saying it with the intuitive thought. You are welcoming your guides. You are asking or thanking them, setting your intention and then asking. And then you're clearing your mind and receiving the answer. Now, another way you can do this is just a back and forth. So you set your meeting, you set your intention, and then you ask a question. So you could say, thank you. Here's my intention. What can I do about this scenario in my work? And then be specific. Clear your mind, get the answer. Okay, now I want to know about this health thing. Could you tell me if XYZ is the right answer or A, B, or C, or give me more insight? Whatever your question is, clear your mind, get the answer. You can do it that way too. I have students that do it both ways and whatever's most comfortable. Now, let's say that you asked a question and you get nothing. I get it. There's a couple things. Go back to see if you've cleared your mind. Also, it can be that you're blocking the answer because you're not ready to receive it. This is something that happens where, especially with relationships or jobs or things that you're just really attached to the outcome. I've seen this a lot with those two topics where it's like, I really don't want to lose my job, or I really don't want to change relationships. And they're just not ready for the answer. Or even if you're single and there's a relationship coming, your ego might say you want it, but on a deep level, you're not ready for it. Or even saying you want to start your business forever, but you're scared to death to leave your job or being let go. So we, the ego, can perceive these things as being negative when in fact they're not negative. They're actually positive. Like, hey, we've got this great opportunity for you. And we're so excited. You're going to be starting your business, going to be amazing. And our ego goes, oh shit, that means I'm going to stop my, not working anymore. How am I going to get this income together? Blah, blah, blah. Spirit helps you take care of the details. And let's see it as a positive message. So make sure that you're ready to really receive whatever it is. And then if you're really not getting anything and you really feel like you're doing it all right, maybe your intuitive language has changed. Your intuitive language can shift. Maybe you're used to seeing and you're expecting. Now, if you find yourself expecting how the message is going to come through, that means your mind's gotten in the way and you need to clear it again. So you can clear your mind as many times as you would like to. However, let's not use that as something that we do all the time. Let's just set our intention to clear our mind and let it go. Because when you get in that hamster wheel of clearing the mind, that kind of is almost in a way going to knock you out of that place of receiving because you're constantly in the cycle. So making sure that your mind is indeed clear is going to be important. Has your intuitive language changed? Don't expect how it's going to come in. Now, another reason that you might not get an answer is because Spirit doesn't have all the details yet and they can't give it to you. Maybe they think it's not for your highest good to know the answer just yet. Normally, if there is an answer and you're getting answers for all the other things except this one thing, I always say wait 3 days because Spirit will usually start to put together a plan or investigate a little further within the 3 days. So, those are some things that you can do to communicate with your spirit guides. I think it's really important to do that. Okay, if you would like to learn more about ways to communicate with your guides and have a workbook and have a class, I've got a free one for you. You can go to messengerofspirit.com/free class. It's easy as that. Go to messengerofspirit.com/free class, and there you go. Thanks for listening to this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com, and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. If you want to continue the conversation, join my free Facebook group at messengerofspirit.com/group. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.